Many thanks for joining us, dear viewers. This is our weekly program, Diplomacy Amulkabandu, by heading this program for you. Have a beautiful time with us. My guest today is Ambassador of India to Ethiopia, His Excellency Ambassador Robert Shetkintong. Ambassador, it's a great pleasure to meet you again, and many thanks for joining us again.
Thank you very much. I am Robert Shetkintong, India's ambassador to Ethiopia and the African Union. I have been here for the last 11 months now.
So, how do you describe the relationship between Ethiopia and India, especially the historical relationship as well as the current bilateral relationship between both countries?
Ethiopia is the land of origin. India is an ancient civilization. So people from Ethiopia and people from India have always been in touch through trade. That is why you see lots of similarities between our two friendly countries. Just one specific example is that about 400, 500 years ago, a number of Ethiopians had gone to India. And over the years, they rose up in the ranks. And actually, some of them became generals or local chiefs in India. So some of the structures or buildings, forts that they have constructed in Gujarat or in Bengal are still there. And also we believe that about 20, 30,000 people who live in India are of Ethiopian origin. So you would see that there is a lot of contact between our people, and because of that, our relations are very strong. For example, 120, 130 years ago, there were about 100 to 150 Indian families who lived in Harar, Dire Dawa, and in Addis Ababa. So these people have lived in this country for the past 4 or 5 generations. They have made Ethiopia their home. And for all purpose, actually they are Ethiopians. And these Indian families celebrate all Ethiopian festivals, including Mescal festival that will be celebrated maybe next week. So you will see that because of this, contacts between our two peoples have always been there. This has brought similarities between our people, and we understand each other. That is historical. In modern times, our relations are excellent. From Ethiopia, Emperor Haile Selassie, the previous prime ministers have visited India on a number of occasions. The last visit by Ethiopian Prime Minister was in 2015, when the former Prime Minister visited India for the India-Africa Forum Summit. From India, the last visit was by the Indian President in October 2017. So you will see that even at the political level, our contacts are always there, and because of that, our relations are strong.
Based on this good cooperation between the two countries, what are the major cooperation at this time? Cooperation that is between both countries, areas of cooperation.
One of the most visible sector is business and commercial. Today, 617 Indian companies are registered with the Ethiopian Investment Commission. We estimate that about $4 billion are their investments on the ground here in Ethiopia. And these companies employ about 75,000 Ethiopian nationals. So you will see that Indian companies are everywhere. Most of them are in Addis Ababa, followed by Oromia, but we also have Indian investments factories in Amara, we have in Debra Barhan, we have in Hawassa Industrial Park, we also have even in Gambela, even in Valega. So you will see that Indian investments are everywhere. They are not so visible, but because typical of an Indian businessman, he will quietly come, put up his factory, set up in a place where many of us do not know about his investments. But the takeaway from an Indian investment is that once this investor comes and sets up his factory in any place in Ethiopia, he is never going to leave this country. For him, he has invested all his life savings on his project here, and he will stay forever. So that bodes well for our two countries. Number one. Number two, The other aspect is education. Whenever I travel around your country and interact with dignitaries, with businessmen, with people from all walks of life, what they always recall is that invariably either their science or mathematics teacher was an Indian. That is because during the time of the emperor, thousands of Indian teachers were here. They even taught in remote areas of the country. So because of that, it has given kind of a comfort level where India and Ethiopia can understand each other. Today, Ethiopian students form one of the largest group of students from Africa studying in India. We also have about 1,500 to 2,000 Indian professors and lecturers teaching in various public universities in Ethiopia. So education is another sector. You have culture. Uh, it is very surprising or very happy instance for me when I come across Ethiopians who speak Hindi fluently. Just the other day we celebrated Hindi Divas, where we have some of our Ethiopian friends who came here, participated in the event. Some of them recited Hindi poetry, some of them sang Hindi songs. And what surprises me the most is that some of them have learned Hindi watching Hindi movies. So you're watching Hindi cinema on your television, and then you are very comfortable speaking this language. For me, I cannot ask more than that. So you will see that our relations will encompass all sectors. Let us say what we call in India, what we call development partnership. These are under this, we have donated COVID medicines. We have donated high school science and mathematics textbooks. We have donated some medical equipment. But most visible is that we have given 3 concessional lines of credit, whereby we have established 3 sugar factories in Ethiopia. So this is also another aspect.
Well, in what ways the Indian investors and especially scholars are now participating in Ethiopia for the development of this country, that the country are now undergoing in every aspect?
During the last 1 year, despite the COVID pandemic, there were 35 new investments from India. So in that, there were three pharmaceutical companies. One is Kilitz Estro that has set up their factory on the way to Debar Barhan. I believe they have already started producing some of their products. Then we also have Glowcare, which is a pharmaceutical company that is being set up in Kilinto Industrial Park. So this is another Indian factory that is coming up in pharmaceuticals. And a third Indian pharmaceutical factory is also about in fact, 2 factories will also be set up in Kilinto Industrial Park. So you will see that more and more Indian investors are coming. That is because the Ethiopian government has made regulations that are attractive for foreign investors. And if Ethiopia wants to be a manufacturing hub in East Africa or in Africa, then I know having regulations in place to attract foreign investments is the starting step, which is very commendable.
Since appointed as the ambassador of India to Ethiopia in the past 8 or 9 months, what is your biggest achievement in tying the 2 countries together, and your future plan as well?
Every day is a small step that I'm taking here. I cannot claim credit to anything, because whatever has happened today is because of the efforts that were put by my predecessors. The largest phase of investment was between 2005 and 8. So you have an Indian ambassador, an energetic ambassador, who many say, when I interact with Ethiopians, say that He had contributed a lot. Many call him as the bulldozer because he was, in fact, instrumental in bringing or putting messages across Ethiopia, across the Ethiopian leadership, and also attracting lots of Indian investments. It is not only him, all the ambassadors that have come after him have all contributed, and that is why today what we are is because of the contributions made by all the ambassadors and all my colleagues in the embassy. Next year, starting from today, starting from this year, we are celebrating 75 years of diplomatic relations between Ethiopia and India. So this will be a 1 year or 2 year event where we are going to celebrate the contributions made by Indian ambassadors in Ethiopia, and all these factors are going to be celebrated during the next 1 year, 2 years. For example, you will see that when we talk about education, so many things are in play, in the sense that the Indian Council for Cultural Relations provides about 60 scholarships every year. In fact, this year, about 30 of the scholarships are in research or PhD. So you have the Indian Council for Cultural Relations that gives scholarships. You have Indian Ministry of Education that also gives some kind of scholarship under Study in India initiative. So this year, 120 Ethiopian students have been selected under this scheme to study in India. So even in education, you have various organizations, various factors that contribute to it. So like that, to celebrate what we are today, we have to bring in all these various actors so that we give credit to them. We sit down together and plan out so that we will take our relations to the higher level. So that is why various factors are involved. I cannot take credit for whatever has happened.
Well, what is the stand of the India in the Grand Ethiopia Renaissance Dam negotiation that was held for the last 1 decade?
This is an important issue for Ethiopia and for the region. The Abyei River in Ethiopia has been a source of livelihood for your country. Down in Sudan and Egypt, they look at the Nile River as source of their livelihood. This is a very important issue, and when it was discussed in the UN Security Council, almost all the countries have emphasized that the GERD issue is important, but should be addressed by the 3 countries within what we call African solution for African problems. So we encourage all the 3 countries to come together. To talk is to start the negotiations, and we encourage all the 3 countries to come together to the table.
In the recent UN Security Council meetings, all about the Ethiopia, especially the Tigray situation, India has been supporting Ethiopia's position, contrary to the US and other European countries. How did the Indian government elaborate its stand on this issue?
I can only speak for India and the position that we have taken. What we have said is that any lasting solution to the issue, to the ongoing issue in northern Ethiopia, should be Ethiopian-led and should be within the framework of Ethiopia, where you have your sovereignty, where you have your territorial integrity. So we believe that this is an Ethiopian problem and it has to be solved by Ethiopians. The second fact is that today the area of conflict has expanded. From Tigray region, now the conflict has expanded to Afar, to Amhara region. In the process, lots of civilians are suffering. So we will have to address the humanitarian aspect. Ethiopian government has done a lot, but more needs to be done. We want all actors, all UN, all humanitarian agencies to come together so that we bring some comfort to the civilians who are being affected, who are suffering during the conflict. For me, what I can always speak is that all the parties will have to come together in the sense that you have the Ethiopian government and the humanitarian agencies that will have to work together to collaborate so that the food or aid will reach the needy.
Is there any proper solutions other than this you can suggest?
No, I cannot. I cannot suggest anything. I can only wish that more effort should be put in.
Coming to the past the sixth general election that Ethiopia conducted in the previous year, Ethiopian previous year, how do you evaluate the results and in Ethiopia and the prospectus or the hopes that they can give for this generation, for these people, for this country?
As the second largest country with population in Africa, as the largest country with population in this region, and one of us a functioning democracy, I am confident that I was confident that Ethiopians will go out and vote and elect their government, and they have done. So during the first phase, you have about 436 parliamentary constituencies that went into election. The second phase will come, and I'm confident that the new government that will come on 4th or 5th October will be will continue to expand relations with India, and from our part also we are confident that the two governments will take our relations to greater heights.
Well, is there any possibilities or is there any future main plans in strengthening the relationship between both countries, India and Ethiopia?
When the Ethiopian Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister visited India in February 2021, he met the External Affairs Minister of India. Both the leaders, in their discussions, touched all aspects, all ambit of our bilateral relations. And at the end of their meeting, both the leaders said we should enhance, expand our relations. So it is very clear, it is for us, the Ethiopian ambassador in Delhi, the Indian ambassador in Addis Ababa, for us to work together so that whatever we do would be mutually beneficial for both the countries.
Well, Ambassador, I'm almost done with my questions. Lastly, if you have a general message for the people of this country, for the government of two countries, as well as on the both relationship between both countries, you are highly welcome if you have a general message.
You have just celebrated your Ethiopian New Year, and the Mescal festival will be celebrated on Monday. I have traveled to many places in Ethiopia. So I have gone to the south, I have gone to Amhara, I have gone to many places in Oromia, I have gone to Dire Dawa. One thing that I have done is that Ethiopians cherish their family links to their communities. Many of them still maintain their contacts with their villages. So it is during this time, during the Ethiopian New Year and the Mescal festival, many people go back to their villages, to their communities to celebrate this festival, sharing their joys and sorrows with one another. And during this time, when your country is decorated in your best golden color of the mescal flower, I want to wish all sisters and brothers in Ethiopia a very belated but happy Ethiopian New Year and joyous mescal celebrations. Thank you.
I really thank you and I appreciate all your thoughts. Thank you very much again, sir.
Once again, welcome to Indian Embassy. This is like your home away from home. Thank you.
Dear viewers, this will bring us to the end of this edition. Many thanks for joining us and for your time. I'm Al the mobile hosting and producing this program for you. Till the next edition, have a beautiful time.